Good morning. My name is Cynthia Zimmer, and I am Kern County District Attorney. Standing here with me today is Kern County Sheriff Donnie Youngblood, Bakersfield Police Chief Greg Terry, Special Agent in Charge from Homeland Security, Michael Chappas, Ernie Lamone, Special Agent in Charge from California DOJ, Bill Dickinson from the Kern County Probation Department, Chief, Jacob Cinco, Resident in Charge from U.S. Secret Service, and Brian Nardella, Supervisory Special Agent from the FBI. We are pleased to announce that a significant law enforcement undercover operation was conducted last week in Bakersfield, targeting offenders engaged in child exploitation and human trafficking. Between August 9th and August 12th of 2023, 23 offenders were identified and arrested by local, state, and federal partners who were working in a covert capacity. The object of this operation was for law enforcement officers to engage in chat over the internet with predators who were desirous of meeting children in person for an act of lewd conduct with them, and also the purpose was to engage in chat with victims who were being trafficked by those in the human trafficking arena. So those victims were being sold for sex by their traffickers. There were numerous arrests. The 21 of the 23 arrests are depicted on this board to my left. The names of the predators and or traffickers are as follows: Salvador Salcido, age 56, Daniel Hernandez, age 36, Diego Gonzalez, age 36, Jose Trejo, age 33, Jasvinder Singh, age 35, Joe Gender Singh, age 54, Ronnie Jermaine Wiley, age 30, Alberto Rodriguez, age 23, Antonio Romero Jr., age 30, William Alfredo Perez Sandoval, age 26, Minor Velasquez, age 38, Rolando Lopez, age 23, Rajender Paul Singh, age 54, Michael Peter Muratala, age 43, Nishan Singh, age 33, Eli Robert Wilson, age 29, Ricky Trevon Walker, age 40, Devin Paul Taylor, age 31, Joshua G. Myra Johnson, age 38, Carnell Singh, age 44, and Christopher Lee Reiner, age 36. The majority of those persons are from Kern County. They were arrested and booked on a number of charges, including human trafficking, pimping, pandering, sending harmful material to seduce a minor, arranging a meeting with a minor for a lewd purpose, contact with a minor with intent to commit sexual assault, abduction to live in an illicit relationship, and possession of child pornography. These cases will be submitted by our law enforcement partners to my office, the Kern County District Attorney's Office, for review and for prosecution. The cases will be prosecuted in state court in the Kern County Superior Court. All these persons on this board were arrested for felonies, and they are all facing the potential of prison sentences. Now at this time, I would like to introduce Michael Chappas from Homeland Security, Special Agent in Charge, who is going to talk to you about his agency's involvement in this law enforcement undercover operation. Michael?
Thank you. Good morning. Like the District Attorney just stated, my name is Michael Chappas. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in Charge with Homeland Security Investigations, also known as HSI, right here in the Central Valley of California. Over the last 3 months, HSI, the Bakersfield Police Department, the Kern County Sheriff's Office, Kern County Probation, Fresno County Sheriff's Office, Fresno PD, CDCR, the U.S. Secret Service, and the California Department of Justice came together, pulled their resources together along with their investigative authority training and experience to prepare for this 4-day operation with the purpose of combating human trafficking and child exploitation. From August 9th through August 12th, 2023, over 40 sworn officers and intelligence staff carried out this operation, which resulted in the 23 arrests that you see here today. Though the internet, social media platforms, and other apps are used to connect friends and family, unfortunately they can also be used as an opportunity and pathway to victimize our most vulnerable and our most innocent. I'm not going to go over every individual case today because every individual will have their day in court and details will come out later. But I am here to say that this is the second operation like this that HSI has orchestrated to this magnitude here in Kern County. It's very evident that local, state, and federal law enforcement have recognized human trafficking and child exploitation being a problem here and are now stepping up to do something about it. The purpose of sharing this information today is not to scare the community, but to bring about awareness. HSI Bakersfield, along with its state and local partners, will continue to improve public safety and hold those accountable. Lastly, I just wanted to say it was a pleasure working alongside the agents and officers involved, as well as observing their commitment and their passion. Thank you, and I want to introduce the Kern County Sheriff, Donnie Youngblood. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're here for a couple of reasons, not just to give you information on arrests that we made. These are ongoing. To the suspects out there, the predators out there, this isn't the end, this is the beginning. We will continue to do this. You will continue to go to jail and to prison. We're not going to stop. Our other message, and probably the most important message of all, is to the parents. Pay attention to what your children are doing. They're getting online, they're being contacted by predators, and they're being groomed. It's your role as parents, and my role as parents, to ensure that that's not happening. There are mechanisms that you can use to block your child, but most importantly, go in there at night or in the day and ask them what they're doing. Ask them who they're contacting. Talk to your children so that we don't have to do this over and over and over again. I'd like to introduce Chief of Police Greg Terry.
Good morning. Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you for being here, and thank you for covering this important story. I certainly appreciate the partnership of all the law enforcement agencies represented here, but I'll also want to thank the men and women of our different agencies who conducted this operation over the last week with such professionalism and diligence, and I want to thank them for their work. What you don't see here, though, is happening here local, is we have some tremendous community partners. Human trafficking is a real thing in our community, and it's not something that law enforcement can deal with alone. So we have wonderful community-based organizations and service providers here in Kern County that are working to rescue and support victims as we come across them during our operations, and I want to thank them for their work. The nature of this type of activity is unseen, and human trafficking is a term we're all familiar with, but it is largely out of the public view, so we must remain vigilant in the way, because of the way it is perpetrated. And so as law enforcement agencies, as much as the sheriff has just said, we are committed and will continue these type of operations to hold those that commit or seek to commit these types of crimes accountable. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ernie Limon, and I'm the special agent in charge with the California Department of Justice, the Bureau of Investigations. And I oversee 3 human trafficking and sexual predator apprehension teams throughout the state. Northern California, Central California, we have one in San Diego. So I'm thankful to be part of this investigation and our personnel to be part of this investigation. As you can see, the success of this operation is because it's collaborative, working with the other agencies. If you see some of the people that were arrested in this operation, they're not only from this area, but from other parts of the states. And our department, the Attorney General's office, makes a commitment to concentrate on these not only sexual predators, but these people that are trafficking these victims, and to provide them services throughout the state. And just a message to those people that are out there online or on the streets to exploit the human trafficking victims is buyer beware, because we're going to continue to be online and on the streets looking for them. Thank you.
I'd also like to introduce some of the other partners here that are standing with me today. Bill Dickinson is the chief of the Kern County Probation Department. Jacob Cinco is the resident in charge of U.S. Secret Service. And Brian Nardella is the supervisor special agent of the FBI. Okay. I want to thank all the officers, deputies, investigators, and agents who worked diligently to remove pedophiles and sex traffickers from our community last week. I congratulate them on this very successful operation, and I believe our children in Kern County are safer this week due to their efforts. So thank you. That's it for our remarks to you. Do you have any questions for me or for anyone else standing with me today? Yes?
Yes, I noticed some of the last things you said were there any relation?
I don't think so, but any of the arresting officers, we don't think so. Yes. There was one that I know of that there were 3 people in a car, and 2 of the people, I told you that we had 23 arrests, that we have 21 on that board. 2 of them were victims. So there were, and people we're not going to put on that board that were victims. How long has law enforcement covertly gone online and done these types of operations in which they talk to predators? I would imagine at least a decade, but law enforcement could probably answer that question better than I.
And almost full-time. There's someone on there. I think I can speak for Greg as well. We're on there all the time waiting for someone to do what we know they're doing. Yes.
What's unfortunate is it's not that hard. It's very prevalent. It doesn't take long when you start one of these chats to have many people chatting with many people at the same time. We're very happy about these 23 arrests, but we're also disappointed that this is still going on in this community. It is so prevalent, not only here but everywhere.
And, you know, for parents that think their child's talking to a 14 or 15-year-old, the child may think they're talking to another 14 or 15-year-old, and they very well may not be. So if they don't know the person they're talking to, beware.
What would be some other tips for parents to learn about the kids or the child if they're talking to a friend or making
Would you like
Talk to your kids. They will talk to you if you talk to them. And you can get hints from them if you just listen to what they have to say. But be involved in their activities, not just on the internet, but all activities, of course. But I think being involved, you'll learn a lot about your child.
You know, children used to be safe at home with their parents in their bedroom when the front door is locked. Because of the computer, the internet, and these social media programs, children are no longer safe at home. So I would say, as a parent, take a look at their computer, their phone, see what they're doing. Especially the junior high age child that seems to be the most vulnerable. And statistics show those that fall into human trafficking, that are victimized, the average age is 11 to 14 years old. So, there was a time when our high school students were the most vulnerable, and they certainly still are. But it's these kids in middle school and junior high that are really, I think, the most vulnerable. I don't know if that's something that law enforcement really wants to talk about the social media sites.
We hit all the sites, and whatever works, it works.
Is there like a wording or lesson that you now that school has started? I know some kind of started with school something that was really awesome.
Well, I think with school starting, kids, depending on what their parents do with them in the summer, are certainly more engaged. while they're in school and busy. But I imagine there's things that can happen during school too. I mean, the internet is still available when you get home after school. I don't know if law enforcement feels that the children are at greater risk during the summertime versus the school year, or the opposite, or the same.
We know during the pandemic there was a lot of activity. The most important thing for parents to know is their child. When you see a change in behavior, a radical change in behavior, there's a reason for that. And it's our job to find out, not ours as law enforcement, but as parents, find out what's causing that change. It may be just something at school, it may be something more serious, more radical than that.
Sometimes when children are in school, it gives an additional ability for someone to spot that there's something odd going on with the child, like their teachers. And we are doing more and more training of teachers, principals, nurses, different people in the community to see that an 11-year-old should not have a $500 purse, which is very often an indicator that something's going on at home or somewhere that isn't right. So that is another ability of someone to take a look at a child and see a change, especially during the school year, for a teacher that's in tune with their students.
There's some key behavior of potential victim you threw on to, maybe something that his officers, pretty behavior, like predators, young meeting and being other parents.
We wouldn't talk about tactics or what we learn from the bad guys on the internet, but you know your child better than anybody else, and your teacher knows your children better than anybody else. That's where your clues are going to come.
I think one of the things that makes this so particularly pervasive as the Dave was talking about, is the manner in which it's done. There is no typical victim. When you look at who the victims are and who law enforcement contacts, often it is among the most vulnerable children that we're talking about. And then those that have been subjected to a variety of different types of trauma and abuse that these predators prey on and take advantage of that. So that's why it's so incumbent upon us and the responsibilities as parents, and that's why I hope they take away from this operation is the lesson that it is real, it is present in our community, and you've got to be engaged. There's a lot of filters, and technology provides a lot of resources to help close the door and lock the door and the gates in our homes and in our technology. We just have to be engaged with it. But as the sheriff said as well, staying connected to your kids and knowing and being able to understand what is going on with them is most important.
One more question, and go ahead. I think so. I learned something. I had the opportunity to go watch a lot of this, and I learned some things. And I think the officers did too, but I don't really think that what I learned is something that I think we should be sharing with the public, because we're going to continue to do better. We're going to continue to do these operations. We're going to be smarter. I think they're smarter on the outside, because I'm sure they're watching some of this and see what you're going to report. I don't know if there's anything that law enforcement wants to report that they think they can do better that would not be something that they should keep to themselves.
Just like the sheriff said, we do have child exploitation investigative groups here in Kern County that are proactive, that are working 365. This is just more of a 4-day all hands on deck law enforcement. Like we said, we brought in people from California Department of Justice, even Fresno, bring those resources together to make this, successful as possible.
And on prior cases, we've had people travel from all over the United States to come here to meet a child. And it wasn't that long ago we had a child who was groomed and taken to Los Angeles and killed, if you recall. It wasn't that long.
Now, there are many people behind the cameras today who are out this way that I assume you will not publish their faces. To you, I want to tell you how proud I am of how professional you are, all of you that worked on this. I'm very proud. It was really neat to watch how dedicated these law enforcement officers are to trying to prevent a child from being exploited. It was amazing. So I want to thank them for what they do. That is not easy work. It's very difficult. So with that, I wanted to tell you that we have a press statement for you, a press release for you to take. on the way out, so I know I read the names of people quickly. One of the reasons we put the age on there is because sometimes this is a common name. So we wanted to make sure that somebody with the same name doesn't think that they got caught up in this. So that's why we put the name and the age. And we will have all those listed for you, as well as the charges and all of the law enforcement partners that came together to make this a success. So thank you for coming.